Hello and welcome to a video on Train Sim World 2, and I'm driving the Class 37 today, the Class 37/5, and this locomotive is available in Tees Valley Line, that DLC. There's also, I think, another version of the 35 available in the BR Heavy Rail Freight Pack, I think that's what it's called, for Northern Transpennine, but I haven't got that one. So today I'm using the one from Tees Valley. And I'd like to first start off with telling you about what I'm doing right now. I'm putting on the handbrakes because that's important, because I'm going to be uncoupling the hoppers and also the second locomotive from behind us. The reason being is because the game doesn't let you start without hauling something, and this is the shortest setup, so it doesn't really let you start with just the locomotive or just these two on their own. You have to have some freight back there in order to do it. But essentially, you know, going on about that is a little bit of a disappointment, though to be honest, I don't really mind doing it, as long as I know that it's possible to just leave this stuff behind. When I start driving this, then I think it's fine. I do wish that they would change it though. Anyway, I'd like to make a little apology for an error that I made in probably a previous video. If I said something along the lines of, I'm going to start with the loco now. I'm going to let you listen to that. Got to turn the master key on, and then I've got to put it in. Well, first of all I'm going to set up the cab, so I can talk for a bit. So, I might have said that Tees Valley or Teesside was near Newcastle. In a way it kind of is, but it's not in the sort of region of Newcastle. It is in, well, the county that it's in is North Yorkshire, the North Riding, and also County Durham. And places like Redcar, Saltburn, Darlington, Marsk, Thornaby, Eaglescliffe, places like that. I hope I'm pronouncing all those right, are in, you know, those sort of counties in England. Right, now I'm going to turn the loco on. So put it in engine only, press engine start, and it fires up. Very nice sound to it, the Class 37. I like it. It's a nice loud diesel train. A lot of railway enthusiasts really like it and describe the sound as a thrash. That's what they call it. So if you hear a railway enthusiast say, I like the 35 because they have a good thrash to them, it's the noise that they make. Although I can't really see why it's called a thrash. Thrash actually sounds like some sort of dangerous disease. But we do have sun visors. We discovered that today in here, so if it was sunny, which it kind of is, but not shining on the train, then we could be able to use those to probably our advantage. I'm not sure how well that they actually work, but yeah, we do have sun visors if we need them. Now I release the handbrake and then we can get moving. Although we are starting off by moving, which is a bit weird, but we are, and I think we are on an incline. The gradient says that it's a downward incline, so back, sort of. I wouldn't know how to describe that. A down incline, I guess. But we're actually going forwards and down, so it might have gotten confused here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, we are rolling, and it's got a very nice sound to it, like I just said, and you'll be hearing it throughout this entire video. So if you do enjoy the sound of 37, I don't know how accurate it would be, but I think it's pretty accurate. I did watch a video where somebody did start one of these up in real life. It was actually, I think, a training video, and it did have somebody from Yorkshire in it, which is quite nice to see. So yeah, I watched that, and the startup operation is exactly the same as it is in real life. So Dovetail have obviously done their research here. All the controls are exactly the same as well. It pretty much taught you how to use the train, so you could apply that knowledge from that video. Yeah, I keep tripping over my words. It is very late in the morning. Not late in the morning, early in the morning, sorry. when I'm recording this, but I keep tripping up over my words. I do that a lot, I'm sorry. But yeah, you could apply your knowledge from that video to Train Sim World if you wanted to, because it works exactly the same. They modelled the cab the same, so all the controls are in the same place. And just in general, I think you'll be alright if you follow the video. I have been thinking about making tutorials for certain trains that I'm confident with driving. This is one of them. Although I've discovered that it's quite difficult to make those tutorials without doing them live, and doing them live I would trip over my words a lot. So I'm kind of leaning towards, well, I could do them pre-recorded, but then I usually don't allow myself enough time to speak for those, to actually tell you all the information you need to know. And to be quite honest with you, my tone of voice, I want to get it casual enough so that you can kind of understand that I'm not a robot and I'm not repeating just things off of a script, because I'm really not. Everything I do is pretty unscripted. But yeah, I'm having trouble finding the right tone of voice to do tutorials. It sounds stupid, I know. It sounds a bit ridiculous, like I'm being a bit worried over nothing, but I just want the quality of my videos to be at least serviceable, and in that condition, with the voice not being able to get the right sort of tone, I don't think that I am quite going quite slow at the moment. But I don't think I'll be able to do those for a little while now. So this is pretty much as good as you're gonna get. I'm gonna drive every single locomotive I have that I'm confident with driving once in a video, and then I might go on Patreon and start asking people, hey, you know, if you wanna pick a train for me to drive in a special video or a stream, then I can do that. You know, to reward patrons who've been supporting things like my comic, which is pretty much back on its feet. I am working on it, alright, and I've got everything planned up to about the 4th chapter right now. Getting beyond that though has been a little bit of a challenge, because I keep switching stuff around because I want to get to certain scenes first, but then I also have to follow the general story, so I can't really deviate too much. So I'm sort of flip-flopping back and forth with a couple of different scenes, but none of them are really story critical, so to speak. I'm not going to tell you what they are because that would be spoiling, but basically I'm saying I've been moving stuff around here and then. Not here and then, now and then. So things are changing. I'm still working on it. Please be patient. The newest page did come out of the 2nd chapter, so if you want to see that, please go ahead and do that. It's on my Fur Affinity page, and it's also on Patreon itself. It'll also be on Webtoon. Though I am thinking about changing something with Webtoon. I'm thinking about including the first episode, or at least most of it, all on one sort of continuous page. Because that's how some other comics have been structured. That's how usually people release new pages. They're called episodes on Webtoon. What that actually means is it's really intended for you to sort of upload more than one page at a time per individual quote-unquote episode. But, you know, I did that differently. I basically uploaded every one on its own, and then gave them all different titles, just to spice things up. Make things interesting, because some of the other ones that I've seen have done something similar, so I thought, okay, I'll follow the status quo. But yeah, I'll be asking people on Patreon when I've finished doing all the trains in the game that I can actually drive. And if for any reason I leave any trains out that you see me drive during a stream, it's because I'm either not confident in driving them yet, or I just don't feel like doing it. Because driving something like the 1972 tube train on this line, well, I tried it on Peninsula Corridor in a stream recently, and it was absolute torture because it wouldn't go above about 56 miles an hour. And line speed is never really going to be that low. I don't want to be trundling along at 56 miles an hour because it kind of feels, looking at it, that we're not really going anywhere. So I don't want videos to take too long, basically is what I'm saying. So that'll probably not be appearing. If it does appear, it will be only in certain circumstances am I going to be prepared to drive it. So yeah. And if I get any new trains added, I'll make a video on them at least once, so patrons have something to refer to. I might also make a montage of driving all these trains in one video, so it's sort of easily digestible. You can see them all. By the way, air-powered windscreen wipers there. That's nice. I think that's interesting that it's air-powered rather than electric. So there's a tube coming in through there. That's nice. Interesting feature. Of course, it's completely useless in scenario mode because I can't set it to rain or snow or anything because they haven't added different weather effects yet to that, and I don't really know if they will bother because this game has been out since I think mid 2020, I guess is the date, and they still haven't added it. So whether or not it's more complicated than it seems, it's taken them a long time, or they're just not doing it full stop, whatever. It would be nice to see though, because it would change things up in videos, having different weather effects, and making use of the wipers. Because right now they are completely useless, because there is nothing that is going to splat on our screen, there's no rain, there is nothing, and I thought of there is an illegitimate way by cheating the game to make the weather different, but it doesn't work all the time, and I don't want to bother doing that. It sounds as if it's going to be a pain to set up, and it might reset. That's one of the things that people on forums on Dovetail have been saying, is that sometimes it just resets anyway, so what's the point? So yeah, I just hope that they change that. Anyway, yeah, I want to say that the reason that I found out, the reason why I even looked where Teesside was, because I was confident that it was near Newcastle. I think it is near Newcastle, it's just not populated by people who have the Newcastle or Geordie accent. It's more Yorkshire kind of accents, just generic northern accents. And I looked it up because there is a program on British TV called Long Lost Family, and in Long Lost Family it's a show all about basically reuniting children and parents who have been separate, mostly children and parents, sometimes it's brothers and sisters, just generally family members who have gotten separated either by adoption or other processes like forced removal, stuff like that, or in the case that they're just abandoned as a child. And then what they do is they go to the team who uses DNA technology and searches through records in order to find their missing family member, and most of the time it turns out well. Sometimes they don't really have anywhere to go on, and sometimes they leave it kind of on a cliffhanger because there's more to tell. But in this particular episode that I watched, they did have someone who was living in Teesside, and on the title card it said Teesside and then Yorkshire underneath, and I thought, Teesside, is that really in Yorkshire, or have they messed up? Is part of it in Yorkshire and most of it near Newcastle? Because I know Newcastle isn't in Yorkshire. So I went on my phone, searched it up, and turns out that yes, it is in Yorkshire. County Durham and the North Riding of Yorkshire. So yes, they are correct. So that's why I even looked it up. If you haven't watched Long Lost Family, I do recommend it. I think it's a good program to watch. Not sure what is it, Channel 4? It probably is Channel 4. It has Davina McCall and Nikki Campbell as the two sort of presenters slash researchers slash, you know, the people that go around and talk to the lost children and all that. I'm not going to spoil what happens in that episode though, because it is very recent, I think. But basically, I do recommend, if you can watch it, go ahead and do that, please, because it is good to see that it just lifts your spirits when there's a breakthrough made to someone you've never even met before, or you might relate to it yourself. You might have been adopted or abandoned yourself, and then that might encourage you to go to the team and see if they can do anything to help you. Granted, they're not going to show everyone on TV, you know, and if you say no, I don't want to be on TV, then they won't do it. But yeah, I do recommend get in touch with people if you need to do that. So anyway, we're driving. I forgot to even say where we were driving from. It's in the title of the video, but still, Manchester, Victoria, all the way to Greenfield station. And we're on the Northern Transpennine route, because I didn't fancy doing Tees Valley Line again, because that was where we did the Class 45. I didn't feel like doing East Coast Way again. I didn't feel like doing basically any other. I just felt that this was right. You know, it matches the time period of this train. You know, it's as close to the 60s as we're going to get. I think it's 50s, 60s sort of time for the Class 37. And yeah, just a note, AWS isn't fitted on this line. This line is set in the year 1983, and the one in Tees Valley is set in 1989, or 88 more like. So the one in Tees Valley, Saltburn to Darlington, or Darlington to Saltburn, whichever way you want to say it, has got AWS on it, and AWS is little yellow magnets on the tracks that interact with the AWS system on the train. The ones that tell you, oh hey, there's a signal coming up, you'd better look and check to see if it's red, yellow, green, and then respond accordingly. And then AWS also kind of ties in with DSD, where the train will, when it rolls over a ramp, it'll actually, you know, give you an alert and say, hey, are you awake? Press the button if you are. And if you don't press the button in time, it will grind to a screeching halt by putting on the emergency brakes, I think. And yeah, so basically, if you do want to turn AWS on, every train in the game that is British, so this one, for example, has got an AWS thing fitted. Even though the ones in Northern Transpennine didn't come with, didn't have AWS on the route, I guess Dovetail kind of thought ahead to either this game, because they were like, oh, well, people might want to drive, I don't know, the Class 101 from Northern Transpennine on a route which has AWS, and they might want to use that system, so they just put it in. Why Northern Transpennine does not have AWS, I don't know, because it's a system that dates back to the early 1900s, and it was pretty much fitted in a lot of places, and I can't understand why it wasn't fitted there. It feels like maybe because I know that route has to be older. It has to be older than 1983. So it wasn't like it was only just built. Because the tunnel, one of the tunnels on it, Morley Tunnel, was definitely built long before 1983. Because that was around still when they had steam engines, and that was a long time back. So yeah, I'm saying it's a bit weird that it doesn't have AWS on the tracks. But I imagine that Dovetail done their research and that is probably how it was. And I don't feel like going on the forums and saying, hey, why doesn't this route have AWS? And they just say, oh, because it just didn't have it, end of. So, yeah, I think that's a bit weird. Am I complaining about it? Not really. Not really. I mean, it's not a big loss. It's just that maybe it would be nicer if it does have it, if you want to select it as an option. They could just install the plates or the magnets and then they interact with the train. Though I don't know how this game is programmed or coded, so it could work completely differently. It could work on a different parameter than that. But in real life, yes, it is a magnet and it does interact with something underneath the train. That much I know for certain. But we are going to be coming up to the end of the video in about 2 minutes time. So I'm sorry that this one is a bit long. It ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. I did want to make this a quick journey. I thought Manchester to Greenfield, that's not going to be too far. Turns out, even though it isn't really that far, we're not going that fast, so it takes longer. Decided to set up the train at the beginning, so yeah. But I will be planning more videos after this. Probably the next thing you're going to see from me is a stream, although I only say probably because I don't have a schedule, so it could work out something completely different. I still got a lot of trains left to drive for you guys. I've only done 2 at the moment. You've seen more on the streams, but I want to make separate videos just so I can kind of talk at length, really, because talking in the stream is mostly interacting with the chat. So yeah, if you are one of my patrons, please do think about letting me know about what train you might like and what route you might like me to drive on when I ask on Patreon. And thank you for your continued support. I won't be linking my Patreon because I don't really enjoy doing that at the moment. I don't have a big enough audience. Everyone who knows about it is either following it, knows where it is, or is already a patron. So yeah, I don't think I need to expand just yet. But yeah, that is pretty much the end of today's video, which is good to get to the end, isn't it? I do hope you enjoyed this content. For some people it can be really relaxing, for others pretty boring, although I hope that my commentary throughout keeps you entertained, at least. There we go, give a quick blast of the horn, and we'll stop at Greenfield station. Well done us, we drove well. And I will see you in the very next video, which will probably be a stream, although it could be just another pre-recorded video I upload. Alright, I'll see you all later. Please do enjoy the rest of the content that I have to offer, and stay safe because we are in a pandemic at the moment of this video.